And your workplace is a community. It's a group of people that come together. Typically, people spend more time with the people at work than they do people outside of work. So whether you like each other or not, there is this community that is created from the standpoint of you are around each other all the time. Welcome to another episode of the Physician Growth Accelerator, a show where we break down your medical practice systems into vitals, give you the tools to diagnose root cause of what may be restricting your growth, and prescribe what to do about it. I'm your host, Zed Williamson, and I believe that everything that you experience is the perfect outcome of your current system. The value in that is understanding that if you want to achieve or experience something different, all we need to do is tweak the system. Many times in private practice, the feeling that I'm getting from people we talk to is that there's this stress around running your own private medical practice. And the stress is attributed to the fact that there's this shrinking gap in between the top line revenue of your business and the costs. And so what happens when that happens, like let's say it's not dangerous. Let's say the gap is not something where you're concerned about closing down. But that shrinking gap adds a little stress. And the impact of stress means you pay more attention to the things that probably frustrate you in the practice. That could be specific to employee behavior. And one thing that comes up a lot is a question around workplace conflict. And even those words together just sound so, workplace conflict, we don't want that. But it exists. But if we go back to how I started this segment, with the idea that everything we experience is the perfect outcome of the current system. If you have workplace conflict, let's figure out how we can own it, because it is the perfect outcome of your current system. Now, systems have a lot of pieces, and every system has a human component, and that's why I like focusing on the neuroscience side, on the human behavior, understanding of what may be parts of this system that is creating an outcome that we don't want. I can't imagine anybody wants workplace conflict. But let's dive into how is this created. If we think about the brain's been around for quite some time, pretty fancy, helped us survive for a long time. As humans, we're squishier, we're less hairy, smaller teeth, and no crazy claws to be able to keep ourselves safe. We have to think our way through things. And the brain is really focused on staying alive. And one of the things that is tied to our evolution is community. And your workplace is a community. It's a group of people that come together. Typically, people spend more time with the people at work than they do people outside of work. So whether you like each other or not, there is this community that is created from the standpoint of you are around each other all the time. So why does that matter? Well, if we wanted to create a system, let's say 100,000 years ago, that would equal certain death for people in the community, it would be to ostracize them, kick them out of the pod. They got to go out on their own. And it ain't going to go that well. Our brains know that. What they don't know is that we are not in danger of death when we are ostracized from a community nowadays. But subconsciously, that's how the brain takes it. So I want you to think of an example of workplace conflict. And can you tie it to somebody being defensive? So if this workplace conflict came out because someone was defending themselves, and you looking at it, you're saying to yourself, this doesn't make sense. Don't just get over it. What's best for the overall practice is this. I don't understand why we have to spend so much energy arguing over this thing. Why is there gossip? Why is there drama? Just do the work. It doesn't matter that Bethany asked you to do this. It's not an attack. Just get it done. Makes so much sense from the outside. But internally, if that person is in a state of stress, they take those things as, I'm about to get kicked out of the community. Getting kicked out of the community equals death. This is a subconscious aspect of how our brains are wired. So what do we do about it? The key is helping your team understand what community means. So when someone acts defensively, it is important to talk to them immediately. You don't let it stack up. You don't let, everyone kind of turns their heads and go, oh, geez, John, that was rough. Let me go get a cup of coffee. I'm going to get out of here. That's not good. It has to be addressed immediately. And it has to be addressed in the sense of we need to define what the standards for the community are related to being defensive. Because here's what happens, is someone is defensive, it shuts everybody down, they're not kicked out of the community, and now we are just rewarding the behavior that we don't want. I mean, it's really kind of crazy, right? If you think about it, here's workplace conflict. The way we handle workplace conflict actually rewards the idea of more workplace conflict. That's not cool. So what we need to do is we need to talk to people about that behavior specifically as it's related to the overall community, the culture, the business, the vision, what's important. And so here's some simple tactics when you're having these conversations. Let's say something happens between two employees and it's related to someone forgot to enter some information for a patient. And so the statement is, you forgot to enter the information for patient A. Well, I didn't have it in time. Well, you need to enter it. Well, you didn't teach me how to do it. And this is some kind of thing that goes on. So what you want to do is you want to stop it from a leadership perspective and just say, hey, let's start over. Why do we enter the patient information? And keep digging into what for? What does that do? What does that allow us to do? So then both people, can you agree that entering the patient information is important? Yes. Okay. So, Bethany, it's important for us to enter patient information, right? Yes. Okay. This time it didn't get done, right? I don't care what the reason is, but this time it didn't get done, right? Right. But it's important it does get done. Yeah. So can we view the person pointing out that you didn't enter the patient information as helping the entire safety of the organization? Because what if she doesn't tell you that and you continue to forget because maybe you don't think it's important anymore? That doesn't help patients. And so what we have to do is we have to help expand the view outside of the defensive aspect, because they don't really believe what they're saying. Their brain is telling them that it's important for me to defend myself. In reality, they know the patient information's got to be entered. And they can actually be shown that, look, we should high-five each other when we get to call out each other's mistakes, because we're saving a patient. We're doing this. We're making something better. So just think about it from that aspect. Workplace conflict, if it's something that you're handling by just trying to fix it by, let's say, well, don't have Bethany talk to John anymore, that's not going to do it. Here's the other thing, and this part kind of sucks. Let's say you remove someone from your organization because there's just too much drama, and I'm a big fan of that. But then you follow the same hiring process that got the person into your practice. Don't be surprised when you feel like it's Groundhog's Day and you're seeing this over and over again. So make sure that in your hiring process, you're doing something to uncover the behavior that you don't want to repeat itself. Because if you don't tweak the system of bringing people into your practice, there's no reason we should expect that they're any different than the people we've brought in the past. And if you ever want some thoughts or guidance, please feel free to reach out to us. You can go to physiciangrowthaccelerator.com. Check your vitals. Simple online quiz. It helps you identify where there might be the greatest pinch points or constraint on your practice that's reducing your ability to grow and build a healthy business with a nice fat moat around it so that you're always in the driver's seat. With that, we'll see you next time on the Physician Growth Accelerator.